going to continue with the division of decimal, but this time around we're going to divide decimals by decimal. So let's take a look at this. Okay, now this is our question now. 22.5 divided by 2.5. So what are we going to do if you have this kind of question? So always remember to first of all write down the long division steps that we know. Always remember to write down this. It's going to help you a lot. Now, we are going to follow the same steps as we all know, but we're going to add few steps. Okay. Now, this part, this dividend part is what? Decimal. The divisor part is also what? Decimal. So, what we're going to do now is that we're going to convert them into whole numbers. Okay. Now, if you want to convert this 2.5 into whole number, what are you going to do? You have to move this decimal point to the right. Okay, you have to move this decimal point to the right. So when we do so, we have 2, 2, 5. All right, because when we move decimal points here, you have what? Just 1. You have what? 2, 5. Now divided by, when we move this decimal point 1, okay, all right, to the right, you have what? 25. 25. Also remember that you move the decimal point to the number of digits after decimal point on the divisor part. All right, now this is our question. Now we introduce a long division symbol. The divisor part outside, dividend inside. So what are you going to do? That's why I say you must write out this to help you. Now we're going to divide 225 by 25. So what are you going to do to help us? Now we're going to follow this simple trick. Now you have 25, but you want to know how many 25 can fit into, or how many 25 that can be contained in 225. So let's follow this simple trick. You have 25 here. All right. Now let's say you want to multiply it by 9. Now remember what I taught you in place value. Remember this unit here, this number here is on the ones. This is what in ones unit. Okay, this is what in tens unit. Okay, this is in ones unit, this is in tens unit. Now this two here also means what? 20, because this is what? 10 multiplied by 2, you have 20, equals to 20, because it's what? In the tens position. Okay, now you have 20. Now let's take, for instance, I want to multiply um this 25 by 9. Now when you multiply 20 by 9, you're going to have 180. You have 180. 180. All right, and when you multiply 5 by 9, you're going to have 45. Okay, then just add them. 0 plus 5, you know, is just 5. 4 plus 8 plus 4, you know, is just 12. But you're going to write the ones, the 2 here. Now there is 1 here. When we leave it here, it becomes what? 2 to 5. Okay, so we can see that when you multiply 29 into 25 into 9, you're going to have 225. As simple as that. Okay, so you want to write 9 here. All right, now when you multiply 225, no, we are done with division. We have to multiply. When you multiply 225, sorry, when you multiply 25 by 9, you're going to have 225. 225. We are done with multiplication. Now subtract. Now when we subtract this, let's take it separately. When you subtract 5 from 5, you have 0. When subtract 2 from 2, you have 0. Subtract from, so you can just say that at the end, you just have 0 here left. All right, now this is the final answer. These are the steps we follow to solve this kind of questions. Now let's take a look at another question. All right, now we have a question like this. 4.5 divided by 0.05. This is a question now. So what are you going to do? You know what we did now, just a while ago. You have for you to divide decimal by decimal. You have to first of all convert them into what whole numbers. Okay. So if you want to, and first of all, you have to consider the number of decimal places, okay, or just the number of digits after the decimal point on the side of the divisor. Okay. So we have two digits here after this decimal point on the side of the divisor, but we just have only one digit here after the decimal point on the side of the dividend. So what we're going to do is that we're going to add another, we're going to add zero to this dividend side, okay, to be equal to what number of digits after the decimal point on the side of the divisor. So just add zero here, because the number of times we're going to move this decimal point on the side of the divisor is also going to be equal the number of times we're going to move this decimal point on the side of the dividend. So when we do so, we have what? We have 450, 450 divided by 0.005. This is what we have now, 450 divided by 0.005. So we know that this is equal to what? 5. Now we have to introduce now our long division symbol, which is like this. All right, now we have to bring the divisor part here, which is 5, and then we have to bring in the dividend, which is 450 inside. So I told you, remember to always write your steps, the long division steps. So first of all, now we have to divide. Now when we try to divide 4 by 5, it will be possible. So let's now take two digits at a time. Now we have 45 here. When we divide 45 by 5, we want to have 9. All right. Now we're done with division. Now we have to multiply. Or multiply 5 by 9, you have 45. We're done with division. Then subtraction. To subtract. When you subtract 45 from 45, you have 0 left. We're done with subtraction. Now bring down. We want to bring down 0. All right, now we know that 0 plus 0 is also just 0. Now the next thing I want to divide now, but I want to divide, when we divide 0 by 5, I want to have 0. Yeah, so that is to say our final answer is what? Equal to this. All right, this is the final answer, because if you multiply this by, you're going to have what? 0. If you multiply 0 by 5, you're going to have what? 0. So this is what our final answer here. All right, so this is where we'll stop for today. Please, if you are not to this channel, please do subscribe and don't miss my class. See you next time.